Do you tend to take action only when you're feeling motivated? But then how often is this? Motivation is great and all, but we cannot rely on it. And you probably already figured this out on your own. So now what? But before I continue, I want to welcome you to the Spirit Panda podcast. I am your coach and host, Neftalí Vélez, and today we're filming from a WeWork in downtown Mexico City. In today's episode of Do You Rely on Motivation Alone?, we will be teaching you how to enhance your ability to complete your goals by breaking them down into smaller, simple tasks and being strategic about eliminating any potential obstacles. And make sure you stay tuned till the end of our episode for our segment of Ask Nef, in which we will be providing you with 3 simple steps to help you minimize thought spiraling that's keeping you from your peace of mind. Okay, let's jump back into today's topic of discussion. Are you familiar with the term akrasia? Akrasia is a Greek word that means to act against our better judgment. In simple terms, we know akrasia as procrastination or lack of motivation. So now you're probably asking yourself, how do I kick to the curb akrasia and follow through on my goals? Well, it's quite simple. We need to enhance our ability to complete tasks. We do this by removing triggers and creating prompts. This is better known as the behavioral model, created by Dr. B.J. Fogg from Stanford University. B equals MAP, or B equals MAP. B being the behavioral change, M being your degree of motivation, A being your ability to complete a task or level of difficulty to complete a task. And P is a trigger or a prompt that's going to enable or disable you from being able to complete a task. So in order for us to be able to kick to the curb procrastination, we need to really be able to identify our obstacles. What is preventing us from being able to complete a task? I have a really good example of something that I've struggled for years, and recently I've gotten better at doing it. Flossing my teeth at night. This has been a struggle for years. Every time I go to the dentist, they always actually ask me to do this. I keep forgetting to do it. Recently, I figured 2 little simple things that actually have helped me. The thought of flossing all my teeth is very daunting. So I started telling myself, I only need to floss 1 tooth. What I'm doing here is tricking my mind to believe that the task is much simple. The other thing that I'm doing is creating a prompt. By creating a prompt, I mean I'm leaving the floss right next to the toothpaste so that it's almost impossible for me to ignore it. And it becomes a routine and part of my nightly schedule of just brushing my teeth before bed. By doing this, I'm bypassing my decision making, telling myself that I will only floss 1 tooth. The chances of me just flossing 1 tooth, it's slim to none. The point is to get started and make the task smaller. Make your mind believe that it's so simple to be able to do something that it's impossible almost for you to ignore it. And create the prompt. Creating the prompt by leaving the floss right next to the toothbrush so that it's impossible for me to not do it. Now, when we're talking about breaking a habit, it's a little bit more tricky. It takes removing one little obstacle and replacing it with something else, a healthier habit. And in time, you could probably disentangle multiple unhealthy habits, but you want to be really cognizant of your language around what you're telling yourself about the habit and what are you replacing it with. So for example, let's say I love eating ice cream every night. An easy way for me to avoid doing this and removing a trigger is to not purchase ice cream any longer. That does not take away the craving that I'm still feeling at night of wanting something sweet or ice cream. So what I suggest is substituting that behavior with something else that will replace it as purchase yogurt, fruit, and honey. This would actually remove that craving that you have for ice cream and replace it. Because if you don't, you're still gonna crave it. You're still gonna find something else that's not healthy. This is the best thing that I actually suggest for you to do when you're thinking about removing obstacles. And remember, the key here is to facilitate any habit that you're trying to create by putting a prompt in place and removing any potential obstacle and replacing it with something that's healthier or easier to be able to complete, right? Removing the trigger. The better you get at this, the easier it will be for you to complete a task by removing the obstacles or putting in place a prompt. A prompt is a cue, and this will enhance the ability for you to be able to complete your goals. Break down into simple, small tasks every goal, and you will achieve everything you decide that you want to accomplish. So now it's time for our session of Ask Nef. In each episode, we dive into one viewer's question. Today's question comes from Sophia from Brooklyn, New York, and she wants to know, what are concrete techniques to stop myself from fixating on negative thoughts about people, situations, and in those moments when I find myself spiraling? Thank you, Sophia, for submitting your question today. And I want to start off by saying all our battles start from within. To be able to understand why we spiral, I first want to be able to explain the process of how we take in information, we process it, and how do we take action after. So first of all, it's innate in our nature to be observant creatures. There's a lot of data always around us everywhere. Where the problem lies is how we focus on specific selected data. When we do that, we start to project our meaning and expectations onto the specific data that we're looking at. When we're doing this, we start drawing conclusions, what is also known as creating judgment. Not all judgment is bad. When we create judgment, then we start developing and enforcing our beliefs and values. And from there, we take action. Sophia, where you are at in the process of obsessive thinking on your thought spiraling, you are stuck at the point of where you developed judgment, right? When you draw conclusions about a specific set of data. So here lies the problem. Our monkey brains will obsess when we feel triggered about our meaning and our assumptions, and we quickly climb that ladder into creating a judgment that reinforces our belief or a value. So what we need to do is take a second, realize that we're not seeing the full picture and that we might be missing a lot of information when we're just focusing on specific data that interest us. So finding the facts of a circumstance is where we want to start. Where will things actually be helpful to be able to zoom out a little bit, stop overthinking by drawing conclusions and reinforcing beliefs and values that we have. And instead, we want to be able to focus on what we might be missing. So here are 3 steps to help you minimize thought spiraling. Step 1, thought download. Take a pen and piece of paper and jot down everything that you're feeling and thinking about the specific circumstance or trigger in real time. Make this a safe space for you to vent and be as graphic and expressive of everything specifically that you're feeling and thinking. Make sure that you're detailed as possible when you're doing this. Take this as a very meditative space that's safe for you to be able to vent and express that. The better you do this, the more you're going to be able to remove that energy charge that you're carrying. Ask yourself, how are you feeling? Where is that emotion living in your body? Where is it coming from? Write it all out. Step 2, fact check yourself. You're going to take a highlighter and you're going to go through the entire thought download and highlight what you consider to be a fact. Remember that facts are irrefutable. So that means it's not your thought, it's not the opinion, it's not your intuition about a specific circumstance or trigger. It's the circumstances that happen that are either a place, a person, or a thing. Your thoughts, opinions, and intuition have no place in the facts. So make sure that you're very discerning and objective when you're doing this step. When you're done with this, I want you to walk away from this exercise. Go for some tea, walk around the block, take a couple of breaths, meditate, and then come back to step 3, which is I want you to focus on what matters, meaning the facts. Take each fact and evaluate it. Ask yourself, what am I missing? What is my understanding of this fact? What could I learn from this fact? Separate yourself from the story. This is a great place for you to continue deepening your awareness without that heavy charge, and evaluate exclusively the facts, and then let everything else go. Thank you again, Sophia, for submitting your question today. And anybody can submit their question or topics for future episodes by dropping a comment below or emailing me directly at asknef@spiritpandacoaching.com. Now here's a quick recap of the 3 main points that we covered in this episode. Motivation comes and goes, and we cannot rely on it to succeed. Facilitating your ability to complete a task by using prompts or removing triggers is the key to achieving your goals. When overthinking, write down your thoughts and focus on searching for the facts. For today's assignment, I want you to develop a plan to facilitate you taking action on a goal that you have been postponing due to lack of motivation. What's a healthy habit that you could create a prompt for? What's an unhealthy habit that might need a trigger removed? Remember to break down all your goals into small, attainable tasks. The more tasks you have, the easier it'll be for you to achieve your goal. Like our show, then hit that subscribe button for weekly episodes. And remember, ability over motivation. Engineering your extraordinary life requires strategic planning and commitment.